Okay, I'm live back with the second video to do today. My name is Theresa, in case you guys are just checking in. I said yesterday that we would do the pinwheel, which is this one here. And then we're also going to do the medallion, which is this one here. Hard to see in the picture, but that's here. And I also sent a challenge today, so we're going to add this one here, which is the Kabuto. So we're going to do the helmet. And I was hoping that if you make this with a giant piece of paper or newspaper, wrapping paper, anything big enough to fit on your head, that once you've made it, you'll take a picture and send it. I like seeing if everybody makes these, and it's just a little fun for kids to be able to make helmets, put them on their head, take pictures, and they become Facebook faces. And since everybody's sick of the COVID-19 stories, let's spread a little happiness. So we'll do that one as well today. And also in the video yesterday, I said that if you make 6 of the medallions, you can actually make a ball. So as I said last night, I'd make the ball. So this is the one that I made. So as you can see, I've got the 6, and I use the same paper for it. You can use individual, make it all colorful, but I did the 6 just the same, just so you can see. And what I did, as you can see in this one, it kind of sticks up really loose. So what I did is I just used a little bit of glue and individually just glue all these little pieces down just a little bit. And then all you do is glue the corners together and you make the ball. So it's nice and easy. So I'll show you how to do that. And let's get started. So we're going to do the pinwheel first, just because this is the base. And it actually is called the pinwheel base. So once you do this, you can actually continue on to make the medallion. And as you see from the folds later, you'll see that they're really similar. So we're going to take a piece of paper, and again I'm using double-sided paper, so you can pick plain or you can pick patterned. If you don't have the double-sided paper, that's fine as well. So with the pattern, we always want pattern down if we want it up, right? So you're going to take your pattern down, we're going to do the first fold, and it's nice and easy. We're going to take this and always fold it in half. So this is going to be called what I like to call the hot dog fold. So we're folding it in half, making sure that the corners are squared off nice and square. And then again, always making sure your crease is nice and folded in, nice and tight. And then we're going to unfold it. And now you're going to see that crease there. And we're going to fold this side in half to meet the middle. And I'm just going to do that here, and then I'll show you guys. So you can see that there. There's the crease along the middle. And I folded it down this. And we're going to fold the other side, and we're going to make the nice even match. Just like that. So we make a nice thin, and then if you fold it in half, it'll actually fold nice and thinly as well. And that's how you'll know if you're nice and tight, your folds should fold on their own. Once you have it folded like this, we're going to unfold it, and we're going to fold it into what I call a hamburger. So we're going to fold it in half. Nice and easy. Super easy fold. Again, lining up the corners, always making sure that they're nice and tight. If you're off kilter a little bit, that's not a problem. Sometimes the papers aren't exactly square. So we're going to do that. We're going to make sure they're nice and tight on the corners as usual. And we're going to undo that. So we actually have a crease in the middle. And we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to fold this one into the middle, just like that. So it's nice and tight. And you can see that it folds over in the middle, no problem. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side, because we always do things in equal pairs. And I'm just going to put that down for a second because it's easier. So you'll see your second piece. So now you got a nice square, little half square, and you can fold it in on itself again so you can tell you're squared off. And then we're going to unwrap it. What we're going to do is we're going to take the one side, and we're actually going to fold it in half on an angle like this. And when you see this fold here, this top fold here, this corner is going to match this top corner across here, And if you match the two of them up, when you fold it in half, it actually lines up nice and easy. And then there you go. So it'll fold in half like this. And this should fold over no problem. And that's how you know you're lined up. Same with this side. So we're going to do that. We're going to make sure our nice tight creases, always tight crease. And then we're going to unfold it, and we're going to do the opposite direction. So we're going to fold it so that it's this, a nice little X in the middle is what's going to end up showing up. And of course, working on the table is much easier to do. So when you're doing this and following along at home, use the table like this. Much easier. Just because the angle is a little difficult to do from showing my folds and stuff. So there you go again. So when you unfold it, you'll actually see a kind of an X mark. It's a little hard to see in here, but there should be an X across the middle. And that's how you know you've got all your folds ready to go. So the next step is we have to take the one fold and we're going to unfold it just along the line here so you can actually see the crease across the middle here. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So it kind of looks like it's yawning. A little scoop or something, right? So we're going to take this, we're going to fold it across, and what we're going to do is fold this one all the way back in on itself. And if you have the creases nice and tight, it almost folds on its own. See? So this one's nice and tight. It kind of unfolded on itself. And all I have to do is just go a little bit and it's done. Now, oh my goodness, what do I do? My paper's all squishy. Well, you just have to give it a little bit of help. So it's stuck in the corner here, and we're just going to kind of wiggle the paper around and unfold it just a little bit, and now it's not stuck anymore. And you have that nice even corner, and just like that, follow the fold, voila. Now, if you want, you can stop right here, and it just looks like a house. Easy. But we're going to keep going, so we're going to do the other side, just like we did before. So we unfold the one, we're going to unfold the two, and then we're going to fold this one back in on itself, just like that. And follow the folds, so it ends up looking like this. So there you go. Nice and easy. And if you want, you can go from this, fold it in half like this, and you actually have a catamaran, which is kind of cool. But we're going to do the pinwheel, so we're going to stay in this position, and we're going to go one, and we're going to fold this one in the opposite direction along the fold that we already have here. Just the one way, so you have one, and we want to opposite that, so we're going to find the one right across from it, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it back the other direction, and now you have a pinwheel. Super simple, super fun to do, and like I said yesterday, if you put it on a pin and put it against something with a pole, you can actually make it and blow on it, and it will spin nice and freely. So that's that. So we're going to keep going and actually make this, the medallion, and I'm just going to use this same piece of paper just because that way I can keep going. If you want to stop at the pinwheel, that's fine, and grab a new piece of paper, that's also fine. But we're going to keep going just on the one training, so we're going to keep going from here. So on here, we have these nice little flaps that need to be folded over. So what I'm going to do is fold them all so that they fold opposite of each other. The reason I'm doing that is because now, if I do this, they stand up on their own, right? So it's kind of cool. It's also fun. You can just kind of twist it around if you get bored. Do this in school. Once you have them folded like this, they stand up on their own. And the reason this is a nice thing to do is because when they're standing up on their own, you know that all you have to do is go like this, and it'll fold on itself. So we're going to do that. So we're making like a little mouth, and we're going to squish the mouth down. And we've already got the folds here, so we're just going to fold those down. And now you have a nice little square. So we're going to do that to all 4. Little mouth. Whoop. So we'll do the mouth. Put the paper down and make it nice and squared off. And again, it's the paper. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate, so you have to just kind of work it on its own. Just force it into the position you want. So we're going to do that to all 4. And I'm just going to put my paper down now. Make it a little easier. Alright. So now you have 4 little squares, and it looks like a little group of frogs yelling at each other. So you have little mouths. Sorry. So once you have this, from the crane episode yesterday, I showed you a lot of moves, and some of those are going to be the same. So we're going to do, imagine that you don't have these 3. We're going to pretend like we're making a crane again. This little square here, we're going to take just the triangle, and we're going to make sure that it goes up into the center, just like we did with the crane yesterday. And we're going to make sure that the mouth is open and it's the pointy end down. And we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to do the other one so you can see what happens. So we went from a square into a kind of a kite looking thing, right? So we have the 2 little flaps. And once you have those, we're going to open this and squish it down just ever so nicely. Nice and gentle. Doesn't take a lot of pressure to do. So as you can see, I just kind of stick my finger in the middle there, get it open a little bit, and I just use my thumb and just ever so gently push it down. And there you go. So that is exactly what this is going to look like at the end. And all we're going to do is the exact same thing to all 4 sides. So I'm going to do the second one. So first down into the middle. Always make sure that it's pointing to the open end, because you want this open. And then we're going to do this to the second side. And then we're going to open these just like before. We're going to open it up. And nice and gentle, push it down. And then we're going to do the same thing to the second one. Nice, easy. And we're going to do that all the way around. So I'm just going to put it down and do the last 2. And the nice thing about this is you can make them smaller paper, and then you can make a smaller decoration, like the ball. And you can put string through it, and you can hang it from your ceiling. You can also use just this by itself as a design, glue them down a little bit, and they make really cool coasters, which you can use MacTac, makes it plasticized, or a laminator if you have access to a laminator. Or you can just use it as is, but I like to make sure that it's not going to get wrecked if it gets water on it. So as you can see, we're just doing the last one here. And voila. And there we go. You have a medallion. So you make 6 of these to make the ball, again. And then, like I said, just a little bit of glue. So I just use whatever glue I happen to have, and today is Elmer's. And then I just use just a little bit, just on the underside of the flap here. Just kind of glue this down, and it'll stop it from popping up like this one. Unless, of course, you want it to pop up, because it's kind of cool like this. So you just do that to all 4 corners, and you glue that. If you're wanting to make the balloon, to make the actual decoration, you just fold this corner over like this, and then it'll actually create the flap, so you can glue the next one to it, and then this corner would glue to that corner. And there you have it. Put my supplies away, grab my new piece of paper, Alright, the last one I want to show you today is the Kabuto, which is the samurai helmet. So that's this little guy here. The cool thing about this one is once you learn this design, I'm going to show you two other ones tomorrow, which use a lot of the same folds. So you got the turtle, little guy here, and then the goldfish is actually the exact same design as this, except for one small maneuver. So tomorrow we'll learn the turtle and the goldfish. Alright, so the samurai helmet. And remember, if you make one, I want to see a picture of it. So, again, with the colored side down, you want to make sure the colored side is down. We're going to fold it in half in a triangle. So nice and easy, we're going to fold this like this. We're going to make sure our corners line up again, just like normal. Always make sure the corners line. We're going to do this. We're going to fold it in half. And with this one, really make sure the creases are nice and tight. Otherwise, it'll come apart when you're folding it. So always make sure the tight creases. Once you have your triangle, what we're going to do is pointy end down. Easiest way to think about this. Pointy end down, we're going to fold this one side right to the middle here. Just so that it only goes halfway, but it meets in the middle here. So you have your nice corner here. And then we're going to, again, make sure it's nice and tight. Because the more you put pressure on the creases, the less likely it'll pop open. So right now you see this one, it's nice and firm. It's not falling apart. So once you've done this one corner, we're going to make this one, and what we do with one side, we always do to another. So we're going to fold that one up the other side. So we went from a triangle into a little square. Right? And as you can see, open ends, pointy bits pointing towards the open end. So that's always important. So once you have this, we're going to take the point, and we're going to fold it back in on itself again, but only the one side. This one won't fold. It's a full piece, so we only want the one that's half. And we're going to fold it all the way to the top again, just like that. So you want to fold it up to the corner, and we're going to do the same thing to this side. So it matches, nice and tight across the crease. And there you go. So this one now ends up being two little flaps pointing the opposite direction of the open end. Right, so there's your open side. And this is a full piece of paper versus two halves. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the little decoration on the helmet. So we're going to pull these little guys over. So on this one, you just take the one, and you see the corner down here, right at the base. We're going to take that, and what I want you to do is just fold it over about the width of your finger. Unless you have really small fingers. Then maybe the width of an adult's finger. So about the width of a finger so that it sticks over the side, and that's about right. And as you can see, it points nice and sharp down into the corner. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So again, we're going to do this. And again with the finger width, about that. And now you should have your decorative pointy parts of your helmet. One more thing we do, we're going to do this. So we take the top flat piece and we're going to fold it over towards the top, but don't go all the way. What you want to do is about the same thickness as your finger from the top of your little points down to the middle there, and you want to make sure this pointy piece here lines up with the center of your helmet. And then we're going to fold this down here. Just like that. So you have your kind of halfway mark from the top of the helmet to the bottom of the base of your helmet. And then once that's done, we're going to fold this all the way in on itself again. But we're going to use the base. So as you can see here, this is the base here. See if you can see that here. So the base here, we're going to use that as our mark, and we're going to fold it all the way in, and we're going to go nice and tight. And now you have the front of your helmet. And the last thing you do with this is you tuck this piece inside the helmet. So the easiest way to do that is to open the helmet up a little bit, and you take the piece and just gently tuck it inside, and you just kind of wiggle it all the way in until it gets in there. Stick your finger in and pull it back if you have to, all the way in there. And remember, it's only paper. If it rips, you just do it again. If it rips, you can tape it. But then you see this, so it's all tucked in there. And the last thing you want to do is make sure it's nice, tight crease all the way across the bottom of that piece of paper that you just folded inside. And now you have your samurai helmet. There you go. So tomorrow, when we do this, I'm hoping to have seen some pictures from my friends and anyone who did some crazy origami, and I didn't have any cool paper or anything, so I just used Christmas wrapping paper, and I just made myself a helmet. The paper didn't want to fold very well, so I used a little bit of glue right about here just to hold it in, and then I glued a little bit here and a little bit on the sides just to make it stay, and now you have your helmet. So I want to see people posting pictures of anything they make. Makes my day, makes everybody else happy, and hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks.